Multiple workspaces has become really helpful as for fact-finding hearings. When you are working for fact-finding hearings and you are trying to get your head around what the evidential landscape looks like for each of the allegations you're dealing with, or even just for the fuller picture understanding of what that relationship looks like, or what the lived experiences of that family looks like, you can start to group the evidence as you come across it in a far easier to navigate way by doing it into those multiple workspaces. So once you've thrown all of your evidence into your workspace, you can then go back into it and reorganize the evidence into the way that I do it into the way that I'm likely to approach it in examination or cross-examination, because then I know, right, I'm probably going to have to refer to this little piece of evidence if I need to take the witness to it. And therefore, I can align the evidence to match the order in which I'm going to go through my questions, so that when I come onto that topic, I can work through it. And actually, it ends up being a really helpful prompt to keep you on track in your witness handling without becoming too dependent on your notes, because you can see the evidence, you can see where you're going to go. So it becomes an almost informal roadmap for your cross-examination or your examination in chief when you have it laid out in the order that you want to work with it. I tend to, if it's just a procedural hearing, I tend just to have my simple single workspace. That's where I throw everything into. And, you get used to it. So you've got, I have my party names and I've got my links to any special adaptations we have to make to the court process or to the hearing to make sure that the witnesses and the parties can participate properly. I then tend to have a separate page where I just put down all of my thoughts, and it's color coded into directions that I think we're going to need, questions I need to ask the client, things I need to clarify with the solicitors. And that's just all in there. And then as those things are answered, I either update the cross links or I just erase the information to say it's been dealt with. I don't need to deal with it anymore. For the more complicated hearings, for final hearings, fact-finding hearings, which are akin to trials in the family court, I tend to have multiple workspaces. They're all color-coded to match the allegations or the themes of the allegations. And it means that I can front load the evidence collection, because it means I can start collecting or pooling evidence that I think is relevant to particular allegations or particular issues into workspaces for each of those allegations or issues. And so when I'm going through the bundle, I can start to draw together everything that I think might be relevant. It means that you end up with a really, really detailed cross-reference of everything that might be relevant. And it means that you are then armed with this arsenal of information that you can selectively use. You're not always going to use all of the evidence, but you know where to find it if you get a witness that throws you a curveball or a judge that asks you a question that you weren't expecting, because you know that the information you need is something you've seen. You know it's going to be in a particular workspace because it relates to that issue. And you just have to scroll down 1 or 2 or 3 times to find that little nugget that you were looking for. I didn't know I needed multiple workspaces, but it's now something I use really often.